Just a bit of reflection on the conference. You can read what's up there, but we've had some really great experiences, and I've heard nothing but sort of great things around the conference, which is really great. It's hard to get around everywhere, but I'm really grateful to the speakers because that as a collective group makes a good conference. Obviously, we had two ministers, and we got perspective from the Environment Minister and from local government, and added some flavour to that with actually having some great other guest speakers. And for you people that went to both Dr. Art Umble and Mark Goble's presentations, you got a real feel for what's going on in their parts of the world, but how it relates to New Zealand. And then this morning we had a fantastic one from Tony Wong, and I think for me that created quite I suppose an interesting topic around water sensitivity design and how you can link all three together. Something I kept snapping my camera and taking a lot of pictures of some of his slides. And then, of course, the great big project that's going on here in Auckland at the moment is water care. So Shane Kunis gave a very good presentation where we are on that project. So some good all-around things. The other one that really, for people that sat in and saw our motivational speaker, Kevin Bigger, I think it was a great journey, and the one thing I took away was the three bastards theory. So we all know what that is, don't we? So if you run across three of those people each day, then take a look at yourself. So I thought it was really good. And again, looking back, you would have heard some of the things going on, but Water New Zealand's been around, obviously a lot of dialogue with central government. We've been engaging with the sector. We have had a lot of technical roadshows, more to come. We've been trying to build relationships with various groups. And, this time of change, is about building relationships, not trying to destroy them. We've got some really good special interest groups going with Water New Zealand, and we still need to keep those alive. Definitely, the young water professionals is a group that we really want to grow in New Zealand, and it's one that we'll be really focusing on the next 12 months. We also have a dedicated water services managers group, which is the more experienced people in the room, and they have so much information and knowledge to provide to some of the younger people. Obviously, we are in a disruptive environment, and you've heard me talk about this during the opening. When the regulator is established, and that's probably going to be towards the end of this year, and then it'll be an 18-month period, but certainly there'll be some focus going on environment, stormwater and wastewater issues. You've heard about that. So again, we're going to see a lot more regulatory reforms in place. However, I look at it, and I still look at it from a positive point of view. There's going to be a lot of opportunities out there, and that's the way we should think. We know we have a current shortage of people in New Zealand, so it's got nothing to do with people. In fact, it's the opposite. It hopefully will generate an interest in the industry, and that's what we're going to try and push from Water New Zealand side. It's a cool place to come into the three waters, and which area you want to go into is your choice, but we have not done enough in New Zealand to push the three waters. And again, for our employers here today, your staff are your most valuable asset. They really are. Oh, okay. So we also talked about our new mission and purpose statement, which obviously fits more in line with where central government's heading, but where and more our organisation should be focused. And I've heard that word water used a lot in the last two or 3 days. And again, just following on from that theme, you would have obviously seen this post around the place. We've decided actually in our company to now put joint signage on all our treatment plants and water and wastewater. So some take-home points for you. There's obviously a lot of collaboration across the industry. It is very important to build our capacity. And we do need to embrace the change. It's happening. And what we should look at is the time for opportunities. Again, the Three Waters is an area for great growth. And just looking at some of the speakers we've had here, you can get a lot of ideas around where we could go. We just need that leadership and direction in the country to make it happen, and we can all work together to do that. So these are some of the take-home points that I've sort of taken on. I looked at what I said last year when I was here. Some of them are still very much current, but one of the key things will be around skill levels, and I'm going to just bring up a slide around training and certification and where we need to be heading towards that. So what we'd like to do is we want to target probably school-age children from 15 upwards, or young adults, let's call them. And it's great to see that we had some young adults turn up for the whole conference. but we should be aiming for a 15-year-olds. If you think about that, a 15-year-old in 7 years' time, if they go through, will be engineers of the future, and we actually need to start that now. So one of the things is to draw the young people to this conference next year, to actually mix with our more experienced people here, and to actually that learning curve, and that's what we need to create, that opportunity. Diversity is another thing. So this is was one of the posters up there with some great posters, and this one was obviously one that New Zealand enjoyed because we were part of that process in terms of trying to look at diversity across the sector. It's quite interesting reading if you haven't read it, but it compared, we were talking to someone from Australia, and it's quite different, their levels over there to ours here, and to sort of try and figure out why that comes about. The one that I do want to, and I need to thank Jim Graham for being behind this, we now have our WIPA certification scheme underway. So you would have seen it out in the corridor. There's actually a lot of these brochures around the place which are advertising it. This is the first part of our journey, and it's one that everybody will be embracing. So, conference evening. That was a great night for those that went. Just how many out of interest you here went last night? Just put your hand up. That's a fair majority. That's good. Certainly for some of us older ones, John McGlashan, great to hear his music again. So, but obviously our star was Kerry McIver as our MC. What a great lady. There was some great music, and what I enjoyed again was a lot of younger engineers were receiving some of those rewards. So yeah, overall a great night. And so I just want to acknowledge a few people. So on our board, there's a list of people up there who also provide great governance to our organisation, and something we're going to need going forward in the next 2 years. So I'd just like to thank all the board members. How many of my board members are here? Could you guys stand up, guys? There we go, going to spread around the place. Yeah, thank you. And so, we have Priyan from Watercares join us as a new board member this year. I'd like to also thank our trade exhibitors and our international speakers, our local Kiwi presenters, and obviously the conference organising committee, technical committee, and a special thanks to Water New Zealand staff working behind the scenes, and including us in Avenues, who are the organisation that do all the preparation and stuff and set the centre up. I wanted to do one last thing, and that's to thank you guys for coming, because without you coming, there'd be no conference. And that's what marks this being a good occasion, when you can get 1,000 people to an event, a premier event. That is something, especially for New Zealand. So thank you from me. Now, Jim Graham needs to be recognised, along with Helen Atkins, because they both received gold shoveller's pins, which are for people you've seen walking around when they rappel. It's really for services to the water industry, so we're lucky that we had 2 people within our team that got these awards. So congratulations, guys. It's well deserved. Now, more on a sadder note. Vicky, you need to come up on stage. So for you that know Vicky, she's been with Water New Zealand for 3.5 years. She has very much been a part of all our special interest groups. She has run this conference, so it's been her planning, and it's really sad to see her leaving, but she's going to go on to better and better things.
Why not?
Why not?
Something new.
Do you want to say anything to the crowd?
Not really. I'm all talked out. I'm all talked out.
So, look, on behalf of the organisation, we've got you something small, which you're going to have to take back on the plane.
That's okay.
So we've got a bunch of flowers, but you need to come and we need to get a picture of you over here. All right? Oh, my goodness. Well done, Right, our conference here is going to be here again next year. We were looking to go to Auckland, but according to the construction framework, it's going to be a little bit later. So Hamilton's been really nice to us, gave us good weather, so we thought we'll come back here again next year. So I do look forward to catching up with you all next year, and safe travels home. Thank you very much.